people away. Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, there's a 12-step program at the other church across the street. I'm really sorry to hear that. Why don't you just turn your computer off because you've got a porn addiction? We give these placating statements to those who are suffering. We send them away. Christ didn't say to do that, did he? Did Christ do that to you in prayer? Okay, I love you, so, just take the batteries out of your remote and do this, and you'll fix it. And then come back to me in prayer. No, he says, link up with me. I'm going to walk you through this. I'll get you through it. And he's telling the body of Christ, you got to do the same thing. Isn't there a famous statement on that last day? Jesus, when did we see the poor and the this and the that? We never saw them. We never saw anybody that hungered or thirst. Really? Yeah, Jesus, what was the response? Not a good one. All right, well, let's progress. So, this is the second from the third paragraph. And then, after telling us to bear Christ, his yoke, Jesus says, "For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." These are hard words to understand. They're hard to believe, especially if you're going through a really difficult time. It's easy to read it. It's harder to believe it. It's harder to do it. Unless the body of Christ is with you. And you with the body of Christ. You've got to do it. You can't suffer in silence and shame. All right, let's go to Sunday. Yes, sir.
Okay, this yoke thing. My name is Herb. I have a loud mouth.
But they broadcast.
They need to hear you online.
They broadcast.
Oh, okay. This yoke thing is pretty serious as far as I'm concerned. And so when we talk about the yoke, we talk about it in different forms. It can be marriage. Don't marry outside of your culture. Don't marry outside of your religion. Don't marry outside of your community. Back in the biblical days, Goliath and Goliath, different prophets, different Bible characters were not to marry. And then also worshiping with other churches, other denominations, congregating just like you just mentioned, even with the 12-step program, and then what we have here in the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And so being unequally yoked, even when Jesus was at the well with the woman, is another illustration. And God, we know the story very well. He wrote in the dirt, and the first one without sin, without cast a stone. So when we talk about being unequally yoked, and all these different fashions and all these different ways, and if we cross that line, being unequally yoked, be it marriage, be it church, be it community, be it whatever, how do we come back? And is there room for that? And what is the danger in that? Or is there any danger in that?
Great question. It's like you're asking, and I don't want to reinterpret or change what you're trying to bring for conversation. How I see your question is that you have on one side being yoked with Christ, side of a coin, you flip it over, and you're being yoked with not Christ. So let me try to poke away, so add to it a little bit. If the rich young ruler said, I've done everything, yet he was yoked up with his label, is he yoked up with Christ? And Christ said, no, you got to give up your rich young ruler label. Have you ever heard anybody said, I'm a diabetic Christian. I'm a white Christian. Doesn't that sound horrible? I'm a gay Christian. What? Who are you yoked up with? And Christ answered the rich young ruler. Well, okay, sometimes we do yoke up in the wrong way, don't we? We do it all the time. People marry outside, like you gave the example of marriage, marry outside culture, what have you. It's difficult. It's even harder when you marry outside your belief system. It's incredibly difficult. So are we putting our own desires, think of that double yoke for the oxen, 2 oxen pulling a cart. You took Christ out and you put whatever you wanted in there, your job, your spouse, your retirement plan, right? Christ is saying, wait, hold it. I need to be next to you. You need to be yoked to me.